What's going on, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers? This is your boy PorterRock77 coming back at you with another video. Check out the description box. You'll see the link to my Twitter. Hit me up with a follow so we could continue the conversation. If you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stick around by hitting the subscribe button, and everybody don't forget to hit the notification. And if you don't mind, hit the like button, especially if you enjoy the content. So, as the title says, Spider-Man Downgrade has been exposed, and many innocent people have fallen victim to the utter nonsense. You know? Now, let's do a couple of things. During this whole Spider-Man Downgrade fiasco, and I would say more so than any other game, you had two distinctive groups, right? Well, three distinctive groups, but I'm talking about particularly the people with the downgrade hype. You had those who are the traditional downgraders, which are the haters, the fanboys, primarily Xbots. We all know who you see I have Horizon Zero Dawn, Uncharted, Detroit, for example, who time after time after time again go after these PlayStation exclusives graphically, because we all know right now, between the first parties, Sony makes, at least, you know, in the topic of graphics, the best looking games this generation, right? No other first party, and really there's only two. But between the first parties, graphically, you know, Sony's first party developers have been making the best graphically demanding looking games this gen, by far. Right? So, just like a tradition, before the game releases, false narratives and BS whatever of PlayStation games looking downgraded, they look like trash, downgraded. We all know. We've been through it. Right? So, that group we're used to. Everybody's used to that group because they repeat the same thing. You know, they obviously don't know the definition of the word insanity. They're repeating the same tactic and they expect a different outcome every time, okay? So that's the group we're used to. That's the group pretty much almost everybody in PlayStation Nation is used to. So just like normal, we go at them, we talk out trash, we on Twitter, busting their balls, they bust our balls. But normally, when it's said and done, you know, they always take the L. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, they're on their bullshit, whatever, right? Cool. That's the group. With Spider-Man, though, another group showed up, all right, that we normally wouldn't see. And that group is those who are with the downgrade hype, but they're just doing it for the most part, you know. I mean, they do have concerns, but they also want to do it just to take a quick jab. You know, make fun, antagonize, you know, enjoy the fuckery. You know, just partake in the little bullshit. The thing is, though, I don't think they realized that they unintentionally aligned themselves with the first group that I talked about, the group that we're used to. The diehard fanboys, the diehard Xbots that consistently take L after L after L. So we're used to them. So when this new group showed up, these, you know, innocent bystanders that for whatever reason, for this particular game, they decide to jump on board, you know, and throw shots here and there, you know, and just dibble dabble in the middle of this fuckery, the crumb side. They didn't realize they got lumped in with the original group that we're used to, and they got treated no different than the other group. A lot of people didn't realize that they're not like the other group. They don't go after PlayStation games consistently. They don't do the whole downgrade thing. They just did it for this one, whatever. A little bit because of a concern. A little bit just to, you know, to BS, you know, just to mess around. But what ended up happening, they all got lumped up and made to look like the first group. You know? And they weren't used to be treated. Like, so you got dudes, you got people, dudes, dudettes, everyone, who aren't Xbots, who don't do these bot-tastic things. But in this one instance, they got lumped with the Xbots, with the fanboys. They got cooked, no different than the fanboys, and they felt the heat, and they couldn't take it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they were like, oh, snap, whatever. You know, they started muting, blocking, all that stuff. But what they don't understand is that they participated in something they normally wouldn't participate in. Like I said, the first group we're used to. They always do it. They go hard. You know what I'm saying? They go like my man, you know, Robert Downey Jr. said, don't go full retard, you know? Never go full retard. Well, they go full retard every time. So we're used to that. And because we're so used to that, because, you know, PlayStation Nation, the crumb side is so used to that, the response is the same. You go at them hard, you make them look dumb, you make them look stupid, you go at them. You know what I'm saying? You hold no punches. You pull out all the stops. The problem is you had dudes, you know, you had gamers who aren't fanboys, you know, but decided to partake in the festivities and they couldn't handle the outcome. You know what I'm saying? They didn't realize what they were diving into. They dove into a world of being an Xbot and they couldn't handle it, which is good because now they realize, yeah, this shit ain't for me. I'm not doing it. And, you know, and the reason why you guys are saying, fuck that, I'm not doing this no more, is because you guys are sensible. You don't go hard. You don't go full retard. You know what I'm saying? You just did it just to have fun or whatever, but you realize this ain't working. The people we're used to, they don't learn. They keep doing it. Imagine, so that feeling that you had where you're like, these dudes, these Sony dudes are going too hard, whatever. Okay? You saw the reaction. You saw how fast they'll try to cook you. You saw how fast you'll take the L. They'll hand you the L's and all that stuff. And you realize, this shit ain't worth it. You know, whatever. I'm not doing this no more. You learn that on your first try. And you get it. You understand it. The other dudes, the group I'm talking about, that feeling you went through, they go through that all the time. They went through it with Uncharted. They went through it with Horizon Zero Dawn. They went through it with, you know, Detroit. They went through it with God of War. Over and over and over. They get cooked all the time. You know what I'm saying? So with Spider-Man, you know, coming out in 7 days, 7 hours, 17 minutes, and 19 seconds, they get cooked again. You know what I'm saying? So we cooking them all the time. And believe me, you guys learn now and you ain't going to do this shit no more. You're like, you know what? I'm staying out of that because that shit, man, you know, these Sony dudes are crazy, whatever, okay? You don't understand. What happened now is going to happen again when Days Gone comes out in February. Prior to February, you're going to see Days Gone downgraded. And you're going to see Ghost of Tsushima downgraded. And you're going to see Death Stranding downgraded. And you're going to see The Last of Us downgraded. See, you guys who participated in downgraded for Spider-Man, you know what I'm saying? But you never done it before. You didn't do it with Uncharted. You didn't do it with Horizon Zero Dawn. You didn't do it with Detroit, you know, or God of War. But you decided to do it with this game because the hype is huge. It's all over. Maybe you did it for your channel. Maybe you did it to get views. Maybe, you know, you for whatever reason, you decided to partake with this particular title. But you didn't realize what you were doing. You didn't realize who you lumped yourself up with. See, the people you lumped yourself up with, they do this all the time. That's why the reaction goes hard. That's why PlayStation Nation, you know, the fanboy side of PlayStation Nation, the other side, you know, they go at them and they cook them. Because it happens over and over and over, you know. You guys didn't realize that's what was going to happen. The Xbox fanboys, they realized it and they doubled down on it. I'm telling you, what you went through for Spider-Man, those dudes are going to go through it again in a couple of months with Days Gone. And they're going to try again with Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us. And Death Stranding. They're going to go again and again and again. They're going to keep doing it. See, you guys, you're not doing that. Y'all not going to participate in that. You know, y'all not going to do the whole Days Gone downgrade. You're going to leave that shit alone because you already know the reaction you got. You already know dudes were handing you guys L's, trying to cook you all day, notifications blowing up, and you're like, oh man, screw this. You're like, man, these dudes are bugging. Mute, block, mute, block, mute, block. You know what I'm saying? So when Days Gone comes out in February, you guys ain't gonna do that because you already realize it ain't worth it. But the group, Them bots, they're doing it. They're going to do it again. They don't care how many times they get cooked. They don't care that they're like 0 for 5. They're going to keep doing it. And they're going to keep doing it over. And they're going to do it over and over. You know what I'm saying? So now, let me explain to you why this is. Let me explain to you why we're in this perpetual cycle over and over. Right? The fact is, those dudes, not you guys, because some of you had genuine concern with Spider-Man, you know, and as soon as some of you got your hands on the game, you know, everything, you guys felt good. You were like, man, you know, there's nothing to worry about. Game looks great, whatever. You know, you guys got it. For them guys, they don't want PlayStation games to look great. See, they talk a good game about, you know, competition. Competition's only good when the advantage is at Microsoft. You know, they want competition to be good when Microsoft in the lead. You know, it's so bad that these dudes make up stories and they invent shit about what Microsoft's done for the industry. Now, Microsoft has done good things for the industry. They put their mark in the industry in certain things, like Xbox Live. You know, some people, obviously, they're going to talk about how they don't like to pay for online. That's Microsoft's fault. But at the same time, Microsoft found a way to unify services and network into one platform for consoles. You know, party chat, achievements, those are things that, you know, Microsoft, you know, help push forward and is now part of standard template for gaming, right? So there are things Microsoft has done. But there are things that Microsoft are getting credit where they shouldn't be getting credit. Because again, they want competition's good, competition helps push the industry, but it has to be Microsoft in the lead. You understand what I'm saying? For example, broadband. Microsoft's getting credit for broadband online on consoles. Never mind the fact that there are two platforms, that done it before them. Sega Dreamcast had a broadband adapter, so you can play broadband gaming before Xbox Live was even out. And the PlayStation 2 had broadband gaming before the Xbox was out. You see what I'm saying? So how does Microsoft get credit for broadband gaming when it was already being done? Hell, Sony was doing it. PlayStation 2 was doing it back in Japan in 2001. The console, the Xbox console, was not even available in stores. You couldn't buy an Xbox. Nobody even knew what the hell it was. There was no Halo hype or anything. Yet, PS2 in Japan, 2001, it was already online. Japanese, you know, this was during the time where Japan got everything first. You know, obviously, over time, everything shifted to where it's more evenly distributed worldwide, you know, within the same month. But before then, it used to be Japan used to get it first, and then a couple of months later, North America, then a couple of months later, Europe. That's how things were back then. So Japan used to get the latest technology and everything first, especially when it came to game consoles. They were playing online broadband in 2001. Xbox, there were no Xbox. There was no Halo. There was none of that. There was no Xbox Nation. There was no green flag. It didn't even exist. Yet PlayStation already had broadband. Now dudes try to be like, well, Microsoft had it as a standard package. Standard package doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. I don't understand why that's even an argument. It doesn't mean anything because it's not like Sony and Microsoft. I mean, Sony and Sega didn't think of. It's not like they added broadband to their platforms with the thought of, well, this may not be a viable option next gen. Yeah, it's going to be a viable option next gen. They knew this is the way forward. That's why they did it. That's why they provided to their customers. They knew broadband gaming, the option to have broadband gaming was important. They already knew that. The fact that Microsoft, when they released their console and it was a default port, doesn't mean anything. It doesn't solidify that gaming forward will be broadband. If anything, there was more broadband gamers on PlayStation than there was Xbox because Xbox, the OG Xbox only sold like 25 million. And I think the broadband adapter was up to 40 million or 35 million. So that adapter sold more than an Xbox console. You see what I'm saying? And that's just on PlayStation 2. Sega did it before PS2, I think it was. Or at least in the States anyway. I haven't looked up in Japan. I think they did it before in Japan with their broadband adapter. All right? But long story short, Microsoft doesn't get credit for broadband gaming. It was already being done. It was being done overall first on PC overall. You understand what I'm saying? You know, and then if you want to look back at the history of just online, Sega was already looking to, doing something online. I think it was like something with the cable. I forgot what it's called. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. But it was during the Genesis era. And this was like the early 90s. So that's how far the gaming industry was already looking at, the online piece in gaming. We didn't need Microsoft for broadband online gaming. That was already happening. PC had it, and obviously if PC had it and doing it, it's going to transition over to consoles. That's the reason why Sony and Sega did it. So that's not it. Next thing, hard drive. Microsoft had a standard hard drive in a console, so they give credit to bring hard drive into gaming, into console gaming. Again, Sony already did that. They had a hard drive adapter, which was already out years before the OG Xbox. Now, the fact that you guys didn't know anybody that had it is irrelevant. The point is you have to look at the strategic level, at the company level. If Sony made an adapter with a hard drive, it's because they knew hard drives was the future for console gaming. They're not going to survive long going with memory cards. It would be too expensive. They already saw ahead. That's why they made it. And what's funny is the generation after, because Microsoft had the OG Xbox with a 10 gig hard drive default within the console. Yet when they created the 360, it wasn't default with the console. They had one SKU with a hard drive, proprietary at that, and another SKU without the hard drive and a memory card. While Sony, with their PS3, had a laptop hard drive, and you can change it out with any SATA laptop hard drive, 2.5-inch hard drive. You could get a 2 gig. You get a 2 terabyte hard drive. The one that was on the PlayStation was 60 gigs. People were already putting in 500 gigs. Some people were already putting in 1 terabyte on the PS3. That's forward thinking. Again, Sony already knew hard drives was already part of gaming. You see what I'm saying? Pretty much, people were giving credit to Microsoft for things they don't deserve credit for. Because the gaming industry already knew some of this stuff was already heading that direction, right? Which goes back to my original point. These dudes like competition. They'd be like, competition is important. Competition is important. It's good to competition. Microsoft is here. Sony needs Microsoft because, you need competition. But in reality, competition is only good when Microsoft is at the forefront of that competition. When Sony's at the forefront of competition, no, it's not. It's bad. Which goes back to what I'm talking about with games. You see, if they truly believed in competition, then they should use this as a tool for competition to help Microsoft step their game up. They should be like, hey, Microsoft, look at all this. Look at Horizon Zero Dawn. Look at Detroit. Look at Uncharted. Look at Spiderman. And a lot of these games are single-player games. Sony, and the developers, at the top of their game. They should be using this to let Microsoft know they need to step their game up because competition is good. But no, they're not doing that. What they're trying to do is they're trying to tear down every single big exclusive PlayStation has. Because for the simple fact is, we all know the truth. They know the truth. And what's that truth? That Microsoft developers, pretty much the majority of them, just can't hold a candle to PlayStation developers. They can't even hold a candle to Nintendo developers. They're just third tier. They're third tier developers. Now that they got some new blood, like for example, Ninja Theory, maybe, Ninja Theory could, give these guys a little bit of clue on what to do. Because you saw what Ninja Theory did with Hellblade, and that was on a small budget. And the game's amazing. So now maybe with a little bit of tutelage from an experienced dev like Hellblade, everybody else could raise the bar, step their skills up. Playgrounds also is another good pickup, but we have to see what they do. Because right now, all they done was card games. You understand what I'm saying? And I know some people be like, oh, Porter, you're trying to, damage control because it's a simple card game. Well, hear me out. Number one, the franchise is a spinoff of a franchise they never even created from the start. Turn 10 created the Forza franchise. Forza Horizon is just a spinoff of what Turn 10 created. So Turn 10 is technically Microsoft's best developer, period. They created their own franchise, right? From the ground up. Unlike, Halo, which is Bungie's project, Now, there's some members from Budgie and 343, but for the most part, the main heads, that was their shit, and they left it. Microsoft kept it. Gears of War, that was Cliff Brzezinski's baby. He's not working on this. It's just other dudes working on it. You understand? So the true baby for Microsoft is Forza, when Turn 10 created that. Playground took a spinoff. And chances are, to push these games out of cyclic rate, they utilize the same assets that Turn 10 put together. Scanning cars, scanning tracks, all those laser camera scanning, all that fancy shit that Turn 10 developers do to create the most realistic cars and tracks and all that shit. Playground, chances are, just took their assets for their game. And of course, they did open world, so they obviously did more shit into that. But for the cars, the driving, the feel, the look, that's all Turn 10 work. I doubt, and maybe I can wrong, maybe somebody go in the comment section, but I doubt Playground Games built these cars from scratch. Am I wrong? If anything, business-wise, it wouldn't make sense. Why would you build every car from scratch when it's already done for you? And the cars look great, and they run great, and the physics and all that stuff is already done. Make sense? Other than that, for the most part, the rest of the devs can't hold a candle to Sony devs. But instead of using this to raise the bar, to tell Microsoft, hey, your developers that are under you, they need to step up. Because Sony's killing you. Competition, right? Competition is good. Your competitor is busting your head in. Caving your head in. Big time. Raise the bar, right? But nah, they're not trying to hear that. If it was the opposite, they would be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Microsoft's knocking out the park. Sony needs to step up. It's competition. Competition is good. So we hope Sony steps up. I'm not being a fanboy. But that's only when Microsoft's on top. If you flip the script around, nah, downgrade. Looks like trash. One and done. We all hear the excuse. Jab trash. It looks like Tomb Raider. PlayStation template. We hear the excuses over and over and over. You see what I'm saying? So for those of you that participated in the Spider-Man downgrade and received huge backlash from PlayStation dudes on Twitter, and it shocked you, in fact, some of you are already sick of it, and you're ready to block me or whatever, you have to understand you jumped into something you fully didn't understand. You jumped into something you didn't realize. You see? You got to look at it from the perspective, what you did, you jumped into the crumb side. That's no doubt about it. Because if you did this just to have fun, you had to know you jumped into the crumb side. There's no way you thought this was going to be a legit, fair, free, open, honest, adult conversation with no. You were jumping into the fuckery. You had to know, okay? But what you didn't realize is this dance that you decided to partake in happens so many times this year, over and over and over. So anybody who gets on that BS, they just get cooked. And that's what happened to you guys. Because you align yourself with dudes that truly don't want these PlayStation games to be successful. Because it makes their platform, their preferred publisher, their preferred, it makes the God that they worship look bad, Their God doesn't look all-knowing and all-powerful, Their God bleeds. And if a God could bleed, then a God could die. And that's exactly what's happening. They don't want that. They say they do. But yeah, look at the reaction on every single PlayStation exclusive that knock it out the park. Some of these games get 90 ratings or higher. And even with that, media bias. I mean, they will say anything to tear down a PlayStation game. Yet they try to preach, competition is good. Come on, bro. We all know. So that's ultimately what happened. You innocent bystanders, got cooked for something you did not realize was going on. Or maybe you did. I really don't know. Me, I don't jump on the whole downgrade bandwagon because it's really a stupid thing to jump on until the game comes out. It was done with Gears of War 5. I didn't jump on that. They tried to do it with the multiplayer beta Gears of War 5. I didn't jump on that bandwagon train. Forza Horizon 4 recently. I didn't jump on that train because until the game comes out, there's no point in saying downgrade confirmed. Confirmed how? You don't have the game. You can't confirm something without the game popping out. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what's crazy. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you enjoyed the video. And hey, for you innocent bystanders, you know, that got collateral damage, don't worry about it. It's all love and all that stuff. Just recognize who you aligned with yourself during those moments in time, during the Spider-Man downgrade, you know what I'm saying, narrative or whatever. All right? Anyway, this is your boy, PorterRock77. Again, please subscribe to my channel to check out more content. You can check out the playlist. I made it easy, you know, for you guys just to check out and catch up on past podcasts, especially if you're new to the channel and you want to see the things I've done. Hey, I would appreciate it. Don't forget to the like button, and I'll catch you when I catch you. All right? You take care. Peace.